In that community, we have very solid marriages, but
Good.
we have a lot of single parents as well, single moms, single dads that will come in, and you don't have to feel like you have to go out there and put yourself out just to have someone in your life to help you raise your children. If you
No.
have a community around you of men who want to be fathers to their own children and to your
And
children.
will mentor your children.
Exactly. Because when those single moms come here, if I'm doing something with my children and we're having some fun, they are a part. Now, especially in my home,
Of your
they are
family.
my children as well. And I will love them and care for them and empower them like any man and father should my children and them.
Oh,
And the same
that's
thing for a single
wonderful.
dad. Those mothers come along for a raise to help you raise a girl, but you need the right community of people, and you have to take the time. You have to do the work. You can't. It doesn't come easy. You have to do the work to find a community that you can trust.
Yes.
If you're a female, men who are not
Yes.
trying to take advantage of you because they have their own families and they respect and will protect their family at all costs.
That's
And
true.
so it takes time and
Yeah.
the research,
Yeah.
especially hopefully in a church community that is a little safer and mature enough to
Hopefully in a
embrace
church
those single
community. I,
parents.
I, I agree. I think a woman that's single, I know what she's going through. It's not easy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but to find, like you said, to find common ground in the community, and usually that's through the churches,
yeah.
isn't it? Don't you think?
A lot of times it is. I mean, there are others out there, but I think that,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
again, remember what I said in a mature church community. Some church communities, I think, kind of lose sight of the purpose of why we're here. And it
Maybe.
becomes judgmental. It becomes all kind of other reasons that underline and destroy that community. So
Oh,
I,
maybe.
it's important to find a mature community that understands
Yeah.
and will embrace that. And also because we're not saying go find a community so you can find a new man. No, no,
No.
no. The purpose that you're here first and foremost is for your children, is for your to build a better life, to build a support structure that, especially if you're a single mom and you're working. My goodness,
Oh.
how difficult that is.
Whew.
When I when
That's.
I every once in a while when I have to kind of fill in for my wife, I know as a man how humbling that is. I can't imagine a mom trying to be a man and a woman at the same time
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for a child, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's important to make sure that you're finding a mature community that is prepared to embrace and enhance and support and say, and if God provides someone from there that you kind of meet, take the
Yeah.
time to really learn to grow and learn that person. Don't rush
Right.
into anything,
It's.
and eventually let it take its due course.
What are the three biggest mistakes parents make, and how to fix it?
I think first I want to start with the fact that a lot of times parents think that their job in life is to guide their children wherever life takes them. Guide them. Here's the word I'm using: guide.
Yeah.
And what our intent is with legacy is not because as a guide, if you have a guide who is taking you on a hunting trip or a fishing trip,
Yeah.
that guide has to be there with you all the time.
That's a
All right,
guide.
they're there with you. They'll tell, do this, don't do that, do that. No, what our desire is, what we should be doing first of all, the word I prefer to use for our children is that we have to work to teach them to navigate, not guide, but navigate. So
Right.
that requires us teaching them the foundations, the sources of where we've come from, if it's biblical or whatever you have. It's teaching them how to go through and use, when you navigate, you've got a compass. You got a few things out there, and you look at your instruments and you decide, okay, I need to go there. No, 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 that's not where I want to go. I want to go
No.
this direction. So when we train our children to navigate the culture, we teach them what are the wrongs and rights, what are the ups and downs, what are all those things, and we
Yeah.
make them take ownership of those things.
That's a
Too
good.
many
That's
parents
right.
today,
Take ownership.
yeah. Number one is that too many parents today want to train, they want to guide the child rather than train the children how to navigate the culture. That's a big mistake. As a result, we raise handicaps. Okay, not in
That's
the
true.
physical way, but we
That's
raise
true.
mental handicaps. We raise social handicaps because we were so worried about guiding them wherever they go. We want to be involved, even when we become older parents with adult children. We're still too involved in their lives because we haven't transitioned them well enough.
Yeah. For them to go
To,
on their own,
yes. All
because they
right. So
need to
if
move on
all you've
their
done is
own
train
and
them to
have
guide,
values.
if all you've done, if you've guided their lives all along and you never train them to navigate the culture, so that's the first mistake that I think we make as parents is
I
that we
think
have to
so.
train to navigate rather than guide them around where to go.
I
All right.
agree. I agree. I agree with that.
Okay.
What are
Another
the?
one I would say, we come to this place of almost as if we're thrown away the birthright, the position. And when we talk about, for example, this whole thing of the firstborn son, let me just give you some
Yes.
examples. The
Yeah.
firstborn son, if you look at from biblical context, because the whole writing of this book came from biblical context, is that the firstborn son has a covenant relationship, with God, and that covenant, when God was freeing the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses, the story of Moses and the Israelites and everything, that was the first time when the last plague of the 10 plagues was to kill the firstborn sons of the nation of Egypt.
Right, 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 right,
At that moment, he made a covenant with the firstborn, saying, "You know what? They're sanctified. They're set aside for me." So we
right.
have these structures in the family that and so from there we can talk about we can see things where even from a national patriotic standpoint, that firstborn nature is always used. Israel is called God's firstborn. You know. Uh,
Oh,
oh yes, yes, literally
yeah,
written in
you're
Scripture.
right. Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Exactly. You look at
Never thought
so
about it
it's
that
not just
way.
literal, but you look at King
Israel is
David
the
in
firstborn
Scripture.
son. Never thought about it that way, Ezekiel.
Well, that's okay. That's my job. It's my job
Yeah,
to
your
write it and
job
bring
is
it to you.
teach us. We need to learn. God love
if,
you.
if you look at King David in Scripture, all right, King David
Yeah,
was called a firstborn of the kings of Israel. He was
Israel.
not a firstborn
You're
son, but
right.
God referenced him in Psalms as a firstborn of kings
First,
of Israel. So
that's
he
right.
had a position of authority
He
and
was already a
leadership
king.
as a king,
Yeah,
all right, and amongst all the other kings as well.
right. So,
Guess what? That then there's Romans 8:28 and 29 that
right,
refers to Christ as the firstborn amongst many brothers and sisters, many brethren. All right.
right,
So
brethren.
but not just that he's the first one, but that we may be in his, we may be created or raised in his image. So God is
Right,
saying, look, I'm sending my firstborn Jesus Christ. If you look at his life and
right.
follow his life and do what he does, I promise you, you will have a happy life.
That's right, and that's true.
Now,
But not
you're gonna
many
be
of us follow that.
right, right. Now, but that happy life is when I say happy, I want to be clear to you. And then people think what happy life means. I'm not going to have any issues. No, Christ had a lot of issues on this
Oh
on his life. But
gosh,
he was
yes, amen.
mold. It was molding. He was being exemplary. All right. So
Right.
yes, my point when I say all of this is that when we get to that position, that concept of understanding this whole firstborn concept, we start to understand that in the midst of this, not only is this a position that is ordained per se, because we have to have a hierarchy and structure within the family to start with,
Right.
it also teaches us how to handle adversity in our family, because
Right.
adversity is not always there to destroy us.
No, that's true.
Adversity sometimes is our greatest teacher.
I agree with that. I do
Okay.
agree with that because we got to have adversity because that's
Yeah.
what makes us the way we are. But is the Bible relevant to parenting today?
Oh my goodness. Did you just hear me give you a couple of simple tips right there?
And then I
And
went right into it.
my
Well,
my my whole approach to this is with this whole family thing. Yes, a lot of it rests on biblical principles, and I write about different things, whether it's mentoring, whether it's just described a little earlier about that time with my daughter and the beauty
yeah.
that I felt with that, the emotions that rushed through me, because I can
Yes.
find that time to be with my children, especially my daughter in this case, in that way, and the way that I approach my wife, all of those simple. My wife and I. For those that are married out there, or maybe thinking about getting married, for example,
Yeah.
here's something that people don't think. That we struggle in marriage in this culture, and
Yes.
we fail to see the structure and the importance of marriage in the sense that my wife and I are equal.
Right.
Okay,
It should
we
be.
are equal. But here's something. I'll throw something. There's something about essence and roles. In God's sight, neither one is more important. We are equal. Yet and still, there's roles we have to play. So the role that I play is that of the leader and protector, not because I'm more important
No.
or stronger
No.
or healthier or more good looking than my. No, 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 nothing like that. it, it's a role that I play, and so my role is that of the head of the family in the sense of protector, defender, making those become those hard, really hard decisions. Then someone's got to stick their neck out there and say, okay, look, I can make that decision, and I'm okay with the outcome, even if it doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
But we make it from a collaborative and equal standpoint.
From a
At the same
collaborative
time,
equal. Yeah.
You best believe, Jane, I'm not my wife's role when it comes to nurturing and even bearing children. I don't dare claim that I know how to, I can fill any of her shoes. Not
You ain't
so
doing that one.
so you
Yes, for
know,
sure.
and
She's
she's
in way
got
control of
incredible
that.
and she's got such incredible. You women have such incredible patience when it comes to nurturing and warming, giving a warm home and those things. And you know what? I just got to admit, there's just some areas I can't flat do. I
No,
need
that's
that woman to
good.
be.
That's why you got us.
I can't. So when it comes to essence, the essence of who we are as individuals when it comes to marriage, we are equal and the same. When it
Good.
comes to the roles we have to play, I must play the role of leader of the home, yet and
But
still knowing
yes,
exactly
you're the
how important
firstborn
that wife of
son.
mine is, right?
You're the firstborn son.
Hey, thank you very much for echoing that.
That's right. You are. You are. And I love you for it. God
Yeah.
love you.
So those are the things. If you ask me if the Bible is relevant to today's society and today's teaching and raising a family, I
Yes.
could go on all day long giving this kind of examples
I know.
about biblical, just heavy biblical examples that if we just did the tidbit of it, we'll eliminate so much unnecessary pain from our culture
We sure
and get
would.
back on track. Because the Bible, nobody. Here's the thing that I see when I even speak to secular groups. Not too many people argue with the Bible being a wise book. They always say, "Oh, it's the good book."
Yeah.
That's a great book. That's just an incredibly wise book.
Yeah.
But yet and still, and they don't realize how much of their own, like do unto others. I mean, the golden rule. People say that they don't realize it's biblical based.
No, they
There's
don't.
these things that we say in our culture that are coming right out of the Bible, and yet and still, we would certainly shun sometimes the wisdom of the Bible in doing the simple things that will enhance our lives tremendously.
That's very true, honey. That's very true. I find myself sometimes uh, looking for answers for different situations that's come up in my lifetime, and I always know that if I turn to God for answers, I'll
Yeah.
find the answers. And the reason that I went through what I went through was because God knew someday I would be here speaking to wonderful men like you, and being able to talk about your wonderful book that you're going to have. Everybody's going to get that, to read that and to feel confident in their families, and they're going to become more powerful and loving to their children like you are.
Jane, you say with such grace and such beauty and such passion. In other words, yes. Um, when I talk, they're hearing me talk about my children right now, and you talk about your life of what went on in the past with
And God helped me through that.
prostitution and
Yep,
everything.
yep.
And I can talk about civil war in a way
That's
that
right.
really affected and tore into our family.
That's
But
right.
again, hindsight 2020, and only in God's sight did we see that there was a purpose for us going through those difficulties. That
Yes.
today you're in the greatest position to share your life with other women and bring them to places of and elevate them to greatness. If they will simply look, see your love, your passion, your generosity, those things. So when we're going through the moments,
Yeah.
my goodness, is it difficult to, we feel like we're getting slapped around, tossed back and
Yeah,
forth,
we have.
rag
Me
dolls, you
too.
have it. And then we get out of it and we look back and say, wow, you know what?
How did we
I
survive
won't
that?
trade that. I learned so much. I know so much now that I'm prepared. Hell,
Yep.
I'll
Fire.
walk through a fire
Me
to,
too.
to tell the people that what I know.
Me too. That's us. We're gonna walk. We've been walking through fire to tell the people what we know, and we'll keep
Yeah,
on trucking.
absolutely.
I am so pleased and so happy to have you on my show today.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be with you. And from the time we just had a simple talk a few days ago, and I felt the vibes coming, and I think that's a lot certainly to be. I mean, it's a lot to be. You're doing some tremendous work,
So are
and
you. So are you
thank you.
doing tremendous work. You're speaking all over the country, and you're going to be reaching out to millions of more people, and so am I. And we're doing God's work too.
There you go. Yes,
I
indeed.
love you so much, and thank you so much, and God bless you for being on my show.
All righty.
I'll call
Thank
you
you
up
so much. Have
later.
a blessed day.
And I want to say thank you for being on the show today. God bless you and have a good
That's
evening.
why I come hither stead, that strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft.